Welcome to Rabbit Hole Research. This is Chevy Cool Lady bringing you some current events and news stories that piqued my interest or roused my curiosity. As always, we are diving deep into possibilities and opinions. Please leave your comments in the comment box below, as your ideas and information are very important to me. To my first-time visitors, I am so glad you made it. This is a safe place to discuss stories, mysteries, true crime, and technology. Let's think outside the narrative. Our ideas are speculative because we are seeking the truth in all things. If this sounds like a good fit, please like and subscribe because we are building this community from the ground up. If you are a returning sub, you are a cool kid, regardless of your age, and I love the bejeebers out of each and every one of you. Thanks for your support. Here is an update on some of this week's current events. Today we are following up on a story I reported last month, the collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge due to the intentional or unintentional impact from the cargo ship Dahli. There has been much speculation on this event, and we will be discussing some theories shortly. But first, crews have begun demolition of the section of the collapsed Baltimore Bridge from bow of ship that rammed it in March. Now, the docking of the Dahli, the demolishing of the bridge, and the suspicious behavior of the powers that be raises some serious questions. Let's explore the internet findings, because Rabbit Hole Research is all about fact-finding. And we will jump in every rabbit hole to find the truth. Thanks for coming along, Truth Seeker. I was surprised to see, nearly 2 months later, the cargo ship Dahli was still stuck in the remains of the Key Bridge. What did those containers have in them? What has been leaking into our water from both the cargo and the vessel itself? Surely it was damaged. But what shocked the living hell out of me was gathering the information that was released today. The entire crew of 20 was still locked on board the ship. You will be happy to hear the company reports that the company is treating the crew very well. Now no one has heard this from the crew. So we can only imagine how horrible and stressful being stored on the ship must be. The mangled remains of Francis Scott Key Bridge were detonated in a controlled explosion weeks after the fatal disaster in Baltimore. It comes almost 2 months after the cargo container ship Dahli crashed into the bridge, killing 6 construction workers as they fell into the freezing Patapsco River. The mangled span of the $110 million steel bridge has been resting on the cargo ship for almost 2 months, with most traffic through the Baltimore harbor halted. Now crews have blown up the remains in a controlled explosion led by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to free up Dahli. It just seems suspicious that the whole crew was kept on board, their cell phones were confiscated and still have not been returned. There is 20 minutes missing from the black box recording of the crash. What is going on? Biden said, before 24 hours it was handled and being paid for by the federal agencies, then a month later the FBI is investigating the matter. Very confusing, don't you think? This process allows the cargo ship to refloat in bid to restore traffic through the normally busy post as the cleanup enters its final stages. Return to normal maritime traffic is set to come. One more body was found. It will also be a relief for the ship's crew who have been stuck on board the grounded vessel as they were not allowed to leave since the disaster, Associated Press reports. I wonder what they have to say for themselves. Officials said the Indian and Sri Lankan crew have been busy maintaining the ship and assisting recovery teams have been searching the water for the missing dead men. But as of early May, 1 body remains missing, according to CBS News. The crew remained on the ship while the explosives were detonated. Engineers used precision cuts to control the trusses breakdown for surgical precision. I wonder what the long-term effects will be. The speculation rages on. The theories will persist. Dahli and the painting the broken bridge. Francis Scott Key and the national anthem. There is a lot circulating and I am sure there will be a lot more. Thanks for watching. See you next video.
The skeletal remains of Francis Scott Key Bridge were detonated in a controlled explosion weeks after the fatal disaster in Baltimore. It comes almost 2 months after the cargo container ship Dahli crashed into the bridge, killing 6 construction workers as they fell into the freezing Patapsco River. The mangled span of the $110 million steel bridge has been resting on the cargo ship for almost 2 months, with most traffic through the Baltimore harbor halted. Now crews have blown up the remains in a controlled explosion led by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to free up Dahli. According to Metro's report, it allows the cargo ship to refloat in bid to restore traffic through the normally busy post as the cleanup enters its final stages. Return to normal maritime traffic is set to come as a relief for the thousands of longshoremen, truckers, and small business owners hit by the closure. It will also be a relief for the ship's crew who have been stuck on board the grounded vessel as they were not allowed to leave since the disaster, Associated Press reports. Officials said the Indian and Sri Lankan crew have been busy maintaining the ship and assisting investigators. Recovery teams have been searching the water for the missing dead men. But as of early May, one body remains missing, according to CBS News. The crew remained on the ship while the explosives were detonated. Engineers used precision cuts to control the truss's breakdown for surgical precision. Authorities said it is considered one of the safest and most efficient ways to remove steel under a high level of tension.
Here's an update on the Baltimore Key Bridge and the Dahli cargo ship. Baltimore Key Bridge. The Francis Scott Key Bridge, which collapsed after a collision with the Dahli container ship, has undergone significant recovery efforts. Salvage crews have been meticulously analyzing factors such as weight shifts, hull damage, and obstacles to raise the section of the bridge that was resting on top of the Dahli. Special equipment monitors the ship's positioning and movement, ensuring the safety of salvage crews during the complex removal process. The section of the bridge on top of the ship weighs approximately 450 tons. As of now, four missing workers are presumed dead, and investigations continue on. President Joe Biden has approved $60 million in funding for recovery efforts, and the federal government will cover the full cost of rebuilding the bridge. Dahli cargo ship. The Dahli, a 948-foot-long cargo ship, was refloated after weeks of being stuck in the Patapsco River since the bridge collapse. Demolition crews broke down the largest remaining span of the collapsed bridge to free the grounded ship. The crew of 21 men, Indian and Sri Lankan, remained confined on board during this period. Their phones were seized by investigators, and they worry about potential personal liability for the disaster. Food supply has not been an issue, and they've assisted with the federal investigation and salvage operations too. The ship has been moved to the Seagirt Terminal in Baltimore, where it will likely remain for a few weeks for temporary repairs before further substantial repairs at a shipyard 3. The Dahli is currently en route to the port of Colombo, Sri Lanka, expected to arrive on April 22, 11:3045. In summary, the Dahli has been successfully refloated, and the crew's future remains uncertain while investigations continue. The Baltimore Key Bridge recovery efforts are ongoing, with safety precautions in place for salvage crew.
Thanks so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I appreciate any and all interaction, so I don't feel so alone. Appreciate you and see you next video. I love you all.